Fifth grade math is great. I'm Jeremy Prater. I'm a fifth grade teacher at Marymount Elementary. The math is always fun.
But I want you guys to understand why the math works this way so that you can problem solve later.
In fifth grade this year, they're going to spend a lot of time working with fractions and building their understanding of division, moving into double-digit division with the double-digit divisors. Extending the division process to two-digit divisors will let students focus on being able to understand how to estimate.
Because what we need the estimation for is, with this double-digit divisor, what we need this estimation for is so that we can start to put potential numbers in our quotient that make sense.
Take the information, understand what place values they're working in, use logical, mental math so that they can work math problems effectively and efficiently.
The place value, so 10, you would move it over 1 to the right once because there's one, that's one place value.
Okay.
So then the 100 becomes a 10.
The term decimal fraction can sometimes be difficult to understand.
Now, why do I teach you guys about understanding these place values?
They hear this word decimal and they know that it means that it's a part of a whole. They see this word fraction, they know that it means part of a whole. So what's a decimal fraction?
We make the mistake of, with decimals, to say like 1.5. If we think about what we're saying to our students and what that means as a number, that's confusing. If you say 1 5/10, now you're giving your students what they understand. 5/10 of something goes back to your equivalent fractions. 5/10 is 1/2.
So you're saying that written as a decimal here and written as a fraction, we say it the same way.
To combine those to see 2/10 is the same thing no matter whether it's written as a decimal or a fraction, allows them to make that connection between the two concepts.
So understanding what this is as a decimal fraction, we can take it and understand how to use it and place values more efficiently. Does that make sense?
Then they can apply that to understanding that there's place values that are applied to this term decimal fraction.
We have a place value here that we need to focus on. And this is the ones place. So how many ones do I have? 0 ones. And I'm going to divide that by what? Correctly with a 0 in my ones place. So now I get an answer of.
The end goal is that fluency that says it doesn't matter if you've got a decimal in there or not. And by understanding your place values with the decimal fractions, you can still solve the math problems the exact same way and then use your number sense to then plug the decimal point in where it belongs because you know what kind of place value you're working with.
The goal is definitely for there to be a better understanding, to understand why the procedures and rules work. And that's where that conceptual piece comes in. And then once that understanding is there, then students will be able to work more efficiently and accurately in their application of the mathematics.
Now taking a strategy that we've been talking about a little bit today, and you're kind of applying it in your own way, that's math learning.
What we're trying to do now, I think, is really try to help each student develop their own number sense and understand why those numbers are working. Because what happens is the students are then able to take their understandings and then they create their own methods for using those understandings to solve math problems. And the hardest part for them is being able to explain it.
I know why you're doing that, and I think you know why you're doing it. You're just having a hard time telling me. What is 21 as far as a multiple of 3?
Being able to verbalize why I'm doing this is hard. They know that they're doing it, and they know that it's making sense to them, but the more we can get them to verbalize it, the more concrete it's going to be for them. A couple key points I'd like to communicate to fifth grade parents for math in fifth grade would be to make sure that the students don't feel that they are not good in math. We want them to come in with a clean slate, understanding that this is the year that we're going to become math students and mathematicians.
How many times is the person that's helping you telling you that they're just not good at math?
I know growing up myself, right, I learned by this is the rule and this is what you're doing. So it may be different than what you're used to, but it's not necessarily going to be, you're not going to necessarily be unable to help them.
How many times is it the person that says I'm not so good at math is the one that says that's not the way we did it?
Just have them talk you through things. That way they're reiterating their understanding of why the numbers are working the way they're working.